Hi guys, welcome back to a page in the chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and today we are doing something stupid. So I have kind of meshed multiple ideas that I've seen around on the internet. So I don't remember who I saw do this, but I think I saw somebody else do a reading until I find a 5-star book. So I thought I would do a 24-hour reading challenge where I read until I find a 5-star or the 24 hours time limit is up, but I'm gonna random number generate the books like I've done in a previous video that you guys will seem to really enjoy. And also I just think it's a fairer way of doing this, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you like the sound of this video and you would like to see more from me, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload every single Wednesday and every single Sunday. Also do feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page in Chapter so you can kind of see the updates on the 24-hour challenges as they are occurring. And now let's random number generate the first number. I don't know what it's going to correspond to. If you guys have seen my previous video like this, I have a huge Notion page that tracks everything I buy versus everything that I read, so I can see at the end of the year if those end up being even. And that's basically how I do these videos from my physical TBR. Now I think there are 54 books on my TBR. Let's generate a number. 19. So I will... oh, my laptop's right here. I'll do it now. 19 is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by... oh my god, I've forgotten who it's by. The same author as the Brown Sisters trilogy. Anyway, I'm happy about this choosing. The book gods are on my side today. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video and I will update you once we get into the reading. It hasn't started yet. I'm planning on doing... I think I'm going to start at 10. But I'll get back to you when it's time to go. So I finished Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, so it took me longer than I would have liked, but I am actually trying to enjoy this 24-hour period. So this was not 5 stars. It was a very cutesy young adult tale about 2 teenagers dealing with all of the confusions and pressures that come with choosing what you want to do at university and feeling like that kind of decides your entire life, and how all-encompassing that period of time when you're applying to university is. And it follows our main characters as they decide to do what is essentially a Duke of Edinburgh award, but it comes with a scholarship, and it's a lot fancier in this novel than a Duke of Edinburgh award is actually in the UK. It forces them to kind of reevaluate a lot of their decisions and bond and kind of forgive each other for problems that they've had in the past as a result of being on this trip, learning more about themselves. It was a very, very cute tale. If I was actually like a 16-17-year-old, I would have loved this book, but for me right now it is a 3 stars, and thus we keep going with this readathon. Now I have already generated what the next book will be, and I already think it won't be a 5 stars, and I also think that I may have to DNF it. But the number generator chose this book and I'm gonna give it a very good go. It chose Gulliver's Travels. Now, I have never read a classic in a 24-hour period. We'll see how I feel about this one. I don't think it's the worst classic to have pulled, and I am gonna give it a go. But I can see this being a DNF, and I can definitely see it not being a 5 star. But before I judge, I'm gonna at least read 150 pages of it, and if at that point it is still a no, I will allow a DNF because it's a classic. But yes, let's, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, let's go and start Gulliver's Travels. It is around 2 o'clock. I stopped for lunch. I literally just made myself a bowl of mashed potato because the 24-hour reading challenge is not the day for proper meals. I'm sorry, it's just not. I kind of hate this. I hate it. I do. I'm really debating the DNF because I just feel like if I DNF it, I'm never ever gonna come back to it. And Gulliver's Travels was a classic that I like wanted to read. Toying around with the idea, I'm just really not enjoying it. I'm really not. and I can feel myself like lagging and like really starting to like not have fun with this video. And I did say, like, when I was coming up with the idea of the video, like, DNFs should be allowed. Like, if I start reading something and I know it's not going to be a 5-star, I should be able to re-roll and try again for that 5-star, since the point of this video is reading until we find a 5-star. And like, in my head it's kind of like a competition to find a 5-star before the 24-hour mark is up. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but that's like in my head, like that's like the competition-y bit, so I feel like I should be allowed to DNF it. I'm gonna eat and read a little bit more and decide, because I don't think I can read another like 300 pages of this. I'm so bored. If you hear panting, we have a Marvin. So I did decide to DNF Gulliver's Travels. I got to page 60 or so, and I just think life's too short. If I was hating any other book that much, I would have DNF'd it, but the fact it was a classic made me like think twice, and I just didn't want to. So then I rolled again. The number that we got from that roll was a Christmas book, which I am also not entertaining when it's super bright and sunny outside and we are in the autumnal season. So I chose literally like the next one down on the list. And that was The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I completely forgot that I had this on my physical TBR, and it's times when I really enjoy these like random number generated videos, because it just really helps you get some books off your TBR that you kind of forgot about. And this one is very in keeping with the whole autumnal spooky season vibe. So we're gonna read this. I have really high hopes for this. I'd been wanting to read this for a very long time when I finally bought it, and then it just kind of did what most of my books do, which is sit on my physical TBR and die for a long time. So we're finally getting to this. I have really high hopes for it. It is 2:30 in the afternoon, and let's get going. I'm maybe halfway into The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. It's going okay. I've gotten a lot more into it in the last 50 pages or so. I was just struggling. I was feeling super slumpy and sleepy, and I was really struggling, but I'm starting to get into this now. So this follows our main character, Rin, and she is a grave digger, but in that sense she like digs the graves so that the bodies can go into them. She doesn't like rob the graves, because so many, like, there's like a fear that the bodies will come to life at night and cause harm, so she's not really getting money to dig graves anymore because people are cremating them, so she's poor. But a new map maker called Ellis comes to town, and then everything starts to go a bit haywire with the bone houses, which are these resurrected like dead bodies, and they start attacking the village. So Rin and Ellis have to go on this adventure to try and save the village, and that's the bit where I'm at now, where they're just figuring out that something's gone awry and they need to help, and things are starting to pick up and get more interesting. It is 5:45, but I finished The Bone Houses. This was a very sweet read. I really enjoyed this. I would probably give it 3 to 3.5 stars. It wasn't something that blew me away, but I thought the discussions around the dead and death itself were really nicely handled, and I thought the actual story itself was really well written, and I loved the ending and how it all kind of played out in the end. I thought it was a very sweet story. I think sometimes stories around death, particularly ones such as this, where like the undead are kind of like the villains of the book, it can be handled in a very fearmongery or like Western presentations of death sort of way. And whilst I would say this is a very Western understanding of death and burial, I still thought that it was very sweet and very open-minded and very forward-thinking, and it was really sweet. I don't think I can give it more than 3.5 stars because it doesn't feel like a 4-star book, but I did think this was really sweet. It took me a while to get into it, but once I did, I was off and flying, and I don't want to discredit it too much just because I am feeling particularly tired and like burnt out. Like, I've read 2.5 books today alone, so not to mention all the reading I've been doing this week anyway, so like my brain is just a little bit tired. But yeah, this was really sweet, and now let's see what we're reading next. I have to remove this book from my physical TBR. It's always really satisfying when I get to do this. We generated the number 18. So let's see what number 18 is. No. Okay. It is The Penguin Book of Christmas Stories which I'm sorry, I'm not reading. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Generate. Okay, the new number is a low one. It is number 4. So book number 4 on the TBR is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Now I was saving this for October, and I actually do think this one could be a 5-star. In the interest of this video, I am going to read it, even though I did want to read it in October. If anyone has any book recommendations based on this, I would love to hear them, because I'm actually quite sad that I have to... I'm not sad, I'm very, very, very excited to read this, but I was really happy about saving it for October. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it really vibey in here, so that it's still... I have really, really, really high hopes for this. This is a cozy magic school setting with found family trope about witches, and it's very cozy and low stakes, and I think this has all of the potential to be a 5-star book, so maybe I will be getting out of this 24-hour challenge before midnight. Maybe. The book generator gods have been much kinder to me this time around than the last time I random number generated a TBR. Ignoring the fact that it gave me a classic. It gave me a children's classic, but ignoring that, I had a young adult contemporary, an autumnal The Bone Houses book, and then I generated one of my most highly anticipated reads of the season, going suspiciously well. I have made my room very vibey, and this is the cutest little book in the whole entire world. You have to read this right now. I am enjoying this so much. I'm like not even rushing through it. I don't care if I have to read until 3 o'clock in the morning, because I'm just enjoying it so much that I will in fact read that late if I have to, because it's just so cute. Not really like a witchy boarding school. Our main character goes to this house where there's 3 orphaned witches living, like children living in this house, and so she's been asked to go there and teach them magic. And she has a cute little golden retriever who is just like my favorite part of this book. It's just really cute and cozy. There's a grumpy librarian that I think there's gonna be a little romance with, and I'm just so here for it. It's so cute, and I think we may have found it. 67 pages in, tentatively saying that this could be a 5-star. Tentatively. The makeup has been removed, and I am getting into bed to finish this off. I am 100 pages in, about that much of the way through the book. I still have the bigger chunk to try and read tonight, but it is only 9 o'clock, so hoping I can probably get this finished by like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, which is not bad going. And then we'll see where we're at rating wise. I still think this is going to be a 5-star, and I'm really not just saying that. Like, it is cozy witchy fantasy set in a magical school with a grumpy sunshine romance. Like, it's just so cozy and low stakes and adorable that it would be very hard for me to not give this 5 stars, because those are some of my favourite types of books, and that's exactly what I was in the mood for. And this is one that I knew I would enjoy so much, and I have been saving for the perfect moment. And whilst this might not be the perfect moment, the anticipation that led up to it is really adding to why I think this could be a 5-star. But there's still a big chunk of the book to go, so we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, also I think the romance element could really boost this to being a 5 stars. I think the problem with a lot of the books that I've read today is the lack of romance element, or the fact that it wasn't particularly central to the plot, like in the Bone Houses. If that had had a stronger romance element, I would have probably given that 4 stars. Highly suspicious and unfairly cute, like it was young adult, so not really what I was looking for, but this could be it. It's so cute. It is 11:30 at night, and I just read a 5-star book. I genuinely feel close to tears at that book, and it ended up being so cute that I I annotated it. I literally annotated the book because it was just so adorable. For me to annotate a book, it is either non-fiction or like a favourite that is blowing me away. Like examples of books that I've annotated, like fiction books that I've annotated because I love them, have been Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Frankenstein, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Like I annotate when I really love a book or when a certain line is just like really resonates, or it's just the most like adorable thing in the world, and this had so many of them and I adored it. It was perfect and so cute, and I cannot thank the book gods enough for letting me read this today. I can't wrap this video up right now because I don't think 11:30 is like the time to be doing that, but guys, if you haven't read this, you need to. It is so cute. What does it remind me of? It kind of reminds me of Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, but it's not absolutely soul destroying or heartbreaking. Like it's got all of the cozy found family dog elements of Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, and like a similar writing style, but this is just adorable and low stakes, and it's not heartbreaking in the way that Under the Whispering Door is. So honestly, this could be one of my favourite books of the year. It is adorable and I actually just feel like crying at the adorableness of it. But I will see you in the morning to wrap up this video and talk more about the books that I read and my feelings on this video as a whole. So yeah, good night and I will see you in the morning. It is 10 o'clock the next day. It is technically 10:01, but I got up this morning at around, well, I didn't get up. The dogs woke me up this morning at around 7 because they wanted to go on a walk, so did that, just got back, and now I'm gonna wrap up this video. So I read 3 books yesterday and DNF'd 1, which whilst obviously DNFs don't count towards my Goodreads challenge, I do have a category on my Notion for DNFs, and so they come off of my physical TBR if I DNF them. So that way, even if I DNF something, it does come off with the physical TBR and it feels like I'm making progress, because I do count DNFs as progress, especially with a physical TBR. Like I gave it a try and I'm probably not going to read it now, so off the TBR it comes. So we started with Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. This was honestly quite nice of the book gods to give me as a little starting one. Like it's quite a short little read. It's a YA contemporary. I just really feel like I've outgrown the YA genre lately. I just get really bored with it, or I feel like I'm not quite getting enough from it. I don't know, I've really gone off it. So that's why this one sat on my TBR for a while. If it had been an adult, I probably would have read it immediately. But I am glad to have read it now. It is a very cute tale. I would definitely be recommending this to people who like YA or of that demographic. I gave this, you know, 2.5 to 3 stars really, but mainly just because I wasn't into it. And I know some people get really irritated by adults marking young adult books quite low, but ultimately you guys want my opinion on a book, and my opinion on a book is that was my rating. But bear in mind that I feel like I've outgrown the genre. We then had the DNF of Gulliver's Travels, which was honestly quite mean of the book gods to give me a classic. This was one that I had on my TBR because I had been wanting to get to it. And whilst I don't think I will read all of the clothbound classics that I have, like it is very much a collection that I do the collecting because I enjoy that and I don't necessarily want to read classics. There were some of them that I wanted to read, and I thought this one would be quite a fun, like accessible classic, but I did not have fun with it. And I feel iffy about DNFing books in 24-hour challenges, but ultimately I was gonna fall asleep reading this and we just wouldn't have had a video, so I'm happy with the choice that I made. I'm just kind of feeling guilty about DNFing it, but I don't think I need to. And then things really started to pick up because the book gods gave me cozy fantasy, like autumnal books. So we have The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones, and this book I completely forgot that I owned. It's times like this when I really like doing the random number generated TBRs because I just completely forgot that I owned this. I bought this last year, but just after the autumnal period, so I saved it for this year's Halloween period, and I just completely forgot that I owned it. It was like an out of sight, out of mind thing. It had not been put on any of my September or October TBRs or any of my autumn TBRs or anything like that, so I was very happy when this one came up. I do think this was a fun little read. I did enjoy it. I just kind of wish that the romance subplot had been more central. I don't know. This is my issue. I just love romance too much, and I critiquing fantasy books about the lack of romance when like that's kind of the point of the fantasy. So this is entirely on me. I just personally would have enjoyed this more if the romance subplot was more in the foreground, but it was very cutesy. I did really enjoy the discussions of death, and I would recommend it. And then we have the book that ended up being the 5-star, and that is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And I don't think I've ever had an experience with a book where I was coming across lines that were resonating or standing out to me so much that I felt the need to like annotate and tab it up in real time. I normally don't do that, and I'm gonna have to go back and reread the first half of this book to see if there's like anything else that I pick up on the second time round to tab. And this is just the coziest little story, and definitely worthy of the 5 stars. And so here are the 4 books that we pulled for this video. I, in all honesty, did not love the experience of this particular video idea. I really enjoy the random number generating TBRs for like short-term, like little short-term periods. I would never want to random number generate an entire monthly TBR because it takes the fun out of getting to read the books that you want to read, but it is a fun way for me to start getting some books off of my physical TBR that I'm never tempted to read, or in this case just completely forgot that I own. But the whole reading until I find a 5-star put a lot of pressure on me to kind of evaluate what I would give a 5-star, and to be honest, it's made me really second guess if I was just done reading or if I actually think this is a 5-star. Like the tabbing and how I feel about this book, I'm like, yeah, that was a 5-star. It was super cozy and adorable, and I will be talking about it for months, and I will probably be rereading it like every year. Like it feels like a 5-star, but I am second guessing like if I read this on any other day would I have given it 4. So I just don't love the concept of like reading until I find a 5-star, and I probably won't film like that concept of a video ever again. But it was really fun to try it, and it's important to try new things, and I did get to some books that have been on my TBR for a while, so it wasn't all bad. If you guys liked this video and you would like to see more from me, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload every single Wednesday and every single Sunday, so there is no shortage of bookish content around here. Also, do feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page and Chapter, so you can see what I'm reading and how I'm reviewing it in real time. And you'd have known that I was filming a 24-hour challenge weeks in advance. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on these books down in the comment section. I would love to hear them. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you're enjoying everything you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future, and I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.